Fully detailed report. Italy's nationwide strike and its impact on European travel. This is the Rethink report. Let's break it down. On March 8, 2025, Italy is experiencing a nationwide strike that is expected to cause major disruptions across the country's transport sector. The strike is impacting air travel, rail networks, and public transportation, creating significant challenges for commuters and international travelers. With thousands of flights potentially delayed or canceled and rail services severely affected, the strike is set to disrupt travel plans across Europe. The strike comes in response to ongoing disputes between labor unions and the government over wages, working conditions, and public sector funding. Italian trade unions have been pushing for better wages, improved job security, and increased investment in infrastructure, particularly in the transport sector. Despite negotiations, no resolution has been reached, leading to this large-scale industrial action. How the strike affects travelers. The nationwide strike is particularly disruptive for international travelers, as Italy is a key transit hub for flights between Europe and other regions. Airlines operating flights to and from Italy have issued warnings about potential delays and cancellations, with thousands of passengers already affected. British Airways, EasyJet, and Ryanair have advised customers flying to Milan, Rome, Naples, and other major Italian cities to check for updates and prepare for possible disruptions. Some airlines have already started offering refunds or rebooking options for passengers scheduled to travel during the strike. The rail network is also facing severe disruptions, with many high-speed and regional trains either canceled or running at reduced capacity. Italy's Trenitalia and Italo Rail services have announced significant schedule changes, with some routes suspended entirely. Public transportation in cities such as Rome, Milan, and Florence has also been heavily affected, with limited bus, metro, and tram services available. Why the strike is happening? Italy's transport unions have been engaged in a long-running battle with the government over pay and working conditions. Union leaders argue that wage stagnation, staff shortages, and lack of investment in public transport have led to deteriorating services and difficult working conditions for transport workers. They are demanding salary increases to match inflation, stronger protections for workers facing job insecurity, and more government funding to modernize Italy's transport infrastructure. The government, however, has insisted that economic constraints make it difficult to meet all of the union's demands. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's administration has pledged to negotiate with labor representatives, but has also warned that prolonged industrial action could harm Italy's economy and tourism sector. This is not the first large-scale strike in Italy this year. Transport unions previously staged a smaller walkout in January, which caused disruptions but did not lead to a resolution. The latest strike, however, is one of the most significant in recent years, with broader participation and greater impact on daily life. Economic and political impact. Italy's economy relies heavily on tourism, and the strike is expected to cause financial losses for businesses dependent on international travelers. Hotels, restaurants, and tour operators are bracing for cancellations and disruptions as tourists face difficulties reaching their destinations. The strike also comes at a politically sensitive time, as Italy continues to navigate economic recovery efforts following years of financial struggles. The government is under pressure to balance budgetary constraints with the need to address labor concerns. If negotiations remain stalled, there is a possibility of further strikes in the coming months, which could deepen tensions between unions and the administration. What happens next? Union leaders have stated that they are open to negotiations, but they warn that if their demands are not met, additional strikes may follow. The government has called for urgent discussions to minimize further disruptions, but a resolution remains uncertain. For now, travelers and commuters are advised to stay informed, check with airlines and rail operators for updates, and make alternative travel arrangements where possible. With no clear end in sight, Italy's transport crisis is set to continue, raising concerns about long-term stability in one of Europe's most visited countries. Follow Rethink Report for the full story.